Okay, so it looks like everyone's here. So we're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order at 5:33 p.m. And we want to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you please stand. I'll just start out. I pledge of allegiance to the
flag of the United States
of America and to the
republic for which it
stands, one nation,
Nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And now I'm going to go forward with a roll call. Make sure we have all of our meeting attendants here. Board Member Dolan.
Here.
Board Member Vane.
Here.
Board Member Aputo.
Present.
Board Member McCoy.
Present.
Board Member Miller.
Present.
Board Member Cummings.
Here, thank you.
Board Member Singh.
Here.
Board Member Barraza. I knew I saw him.
He's there. Oh, you're on mute, Mr.
Okay,
Braza.
Yeah, I've
You're on
got you
mute.
there.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and Board Member Parks.
Present.
All board members are present, so we'll go forward with the introductions. Mayor, would you like to take over now?
Yes, please. Thank you, Madam Clerk. I wanted to introduce all of you to one another. This is perhaps the first time you've had an opportunity to meet, but I want to just share with you the names, and then I'm going to talk about how the selection process occurred, and then just make some comments, and then I'm going to actually introduce an interim chairperson who's going to take over the meeting at this evening, and then you'll also have an opportunity at a later time to do an election. So let me just start by introducing everybody. We have beginning with John Dolan, who is the CEO of the Fresno Chaffee Zoo. All of you know that we are on the verge of having a world-class zoo, and it is because of Measure Z. Certainly couldn't do it without it, but it takes great leadership. And so John Dolan has held managerial positions in the Bronx Zoo, the New York City Aquarium, and other New York City parks. He's very experienced in the areas of community parks, open space management, youth programs, cultural programs. Very passionate about the fact that he believes that it's the people's park and everyone should have access to the parks, and serves on the board of directors for Storyland and Playland, and in his current position. And he's the one that reviews the use of and application of Measure Z monies. Has a very good grasp of issues presented to a commission, which has a responsibility for oversight of taxpayer dollars. So I wanted to read John's resume, because in a short minute I'm going to recommend it or to appoint him as the interim chairperson and let him take over the meeting. But I did want to introduce all the other folks. Meyer Vang, who I've known for many years, and very connected in many parts of our community, especially the Southeast Asian community. Has a keen interest in arts and youth, and is and very active in the preservation of Laotian culture and Laotian arts, and culture diversity programs. She is currently employed. You're still employed at Fresno State, right?
I'm actually employed at Fresno Unified School District.
Oh, I'm sorry, Fresno Unified School District. Sorry, my.
I am actually the business operation manager here at the Community and Family Service Department. We're well known as Parent University. And I sit on the Culture Diversity Steering Committee at the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. I just wanted to clarify that because a few people kept calling me. So I do sit on that steering committee here.
All right. Very good. So I appreciate you being on it. And I had you and Francine mixed up on a deal, but and then we also have, and I think what I'm going to do, Well, I am. I'm just going to highlight each one of you real quickly. So Dr. Francine Oputa, who's no stranger to Fresno. I've known her for many, many years, her and her loving husband, Henry. And they've been very, very connected in the southern part of the city in the Jefferson area. I've been a Fresno resident for 42 years. Just retired from California State University, Fresno. Congratulations, Francine, well deserved. And she is remembers using neighborhood parks in her youth, and her vision is to close the gap or the concept of the tale of two cities, which we know is very, very real. Believes in equality and equity, which includes equal access to recreational activities and programs, arts, cultural opportunities for all Fresno citizens. Her passions and experience, and I can speak to this firsthand, are youth development, youth programs, and arts, cultural programming, and strongly believes in maintaining the city's existing parks and upgrading the older city parks. She has personally used her own home as a quasi park for neighborhood children, and she has the only, I think you'd still do, the only swimming pool in the neighborhood during what she calls Fun Fridays. So Francine, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you. And then we have Miss Kimberly McCoy, and Kimberly has a tremendous experience with youth and parks. Ms. McCoy is a lifelong resident of Southwest Fresno, grassroots community organizer who worked on the Measure P initiative and put in a lot of sweat equity on that project, and provided a lot of community input for the Parks Master Plan that we utilize a consultant on, CRT as I recall, WRT. She has extensive experience working on issues affecting Fresno parks, including the BMX Park and Romaine Park, Mariella Brown, and Camp Pachean. Her experience in the areas of community parks and youth and recreational programs, I think, makes her ideal for sitting on this commission. So welcome, Kim. Appreciate you. And then we have Scott Miller. Scott was recommended by a host of people because of his, it says parks and youth, but I also had recommendations from cultural arts folks. Scott is the owner of Gazebo Gardens and chair of Storyland. He's passionate about community green space and equal access to green space. He's really turned Gazebo Gardens into the neighborhood park and allows free access to everyone, which is very, very commendable. Passion for youth, including youth development and programs. His areas of expertise include maintenance of community parks and green space, irrigation, plant species, and recreational programs. And in his community work, he has had interaction with the San Joaquin Valley Parkway Board, which is very important to this project, and is aware of their mission and work on the preservation of the river. And Scott also is the president and CEO of the Fresno Chamber of Commerce. So Scott, welcome. I know you're in the witness protection program. You don't have your
I
video
apologize.
on.
I'm not trying to be rude. There's something wrong with my camera, and I've been on Zooms all day, and this is embarrassing. And somehow it just turned off. But
That's all right.
but it's my computer is trying to protect you all, I think.
But welcome, Scott. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
And then Mona Niandoro Cumming. I know Mona's on there. There you are. I have to look around my screen because everybody's everywhere. Mona is the director of Tree Fresno, and I think everybody has heard of Mona and Tree Fresno. They do an incredible work in our city. I know just did a big project on Saturday. I had the pleasure of working with them here recently and planting some trees. Very experienced in parks, trails, and youth. Mona is the executive director of Tree Fresno. Varied experiences utilize her biology degree and include working in forestry, working for environmental causes, and educational opportunities for youth in Zimbabwe, and working for Fresno Farm Grown. Currently works for Tree Fresno and has worked with the San Joaquin Parkway in that capacity. She's passionate that community parks should meet community needs with equal access to all citizens. She has experience in community parks, green space, trails, and the development of the San Joaquin River Parkway. So, Mona, appreciate you and all you do.
Thank you.
And then Harman Singh, he's our youth representative. And Harman has experience in arts, parks, and youth. Came highly recommended to the commission. Harman is currently a UCLA graduate and is working in the rental assistance program. Harman has been interested in Measure P initiative since 2018. He participated in youth programs in the Fresno parks as a youth and has passion to develop youth programs in the parks. He's a member of the Jacara movement, which we're all familiar with, and that strives to preserve cultural programs that represent the diverse cultures in Fresno. Mr. Singh has passion for and would represent the youth viewpoint in the areas of youth development and recreational programs. So I do appreciate you, Harman. And then Jose Leon Barraza is also with it. He's from D5, Councilmember Chavez's district. And Jose has a lot of experience, a lot of history, and currently is, I'm gonna mess it up, Jose, so help me out on the acronym. Southeast. Are you there, Jose? You're on mute, I'm sorry.
He's on mute.
Southeast Fresno
Community Economic
Development.
Development
There
Association.
you go.
CEDA for short.
Jose is the head of this organization. He previously worked for the County of Fresno, provided oversight for the budgets for county departments, including Public Works and Parks. He has extensive experience in developing capital projects and calculating operating expenses for county projects. Jose has a passion for youth development, youth programs, including aligning participation in sports with excellence in schools. Jose was involved in the development of the City Parks Master Plan and has a strong belief that parks should be accessible to all citizens. That's a common theme with everyone. And that program should include everyone. While involved in the development of the Parks Master Plan, Jose partnered with the Fresno Arts Center to ensure the plan included and represented the diverse cultures in Fresno. Welcome, Jose. Appreciate all you've done, what you're going to do. And then last but not least, from D6, from Councilmember Bredefield's district, is Sarah Parks. Had to put her on there just because of her name, Parks. Not true. But Sarah has expertise in both parks and trails. Sarah has been employed by the San Joaquin River Parkway Trust for the last 15 years. She's a lifelong Fresno resident who spent much of her youth walking to and enjoying Cary Park, which we did a Beautify Fresno initiative here recently. She worked with the Measure P focus group to form the parameters of the ordinance and on signature gathering for the Measure P initiative. Her vision for the city's parks includes creating usable green space and creating a mosaic of trails that link together all of the city parks. I love that. In her work at the Parkway, she developed youth summer programs and designed the learning materials for the program. She is passionate about creating an operations and maintenance plan for the city's existing parks, ensuring the use of Measure P dollars complies with provisions of the ordinance, and that these decisions are communicated in a transparent manner to the community. Her expertise in trail development, youth programming, and the San Joaquin River Parkway Trust, quite frankly, is really what provides her with the level of expertise to sit on this commission. So I wanted to read all those bios just for this reason. This is incredible talent from a variety of backgrounds with a variety of experience. All of you come with the same passion for parks, for youth, and I'm excited to say that you're going to be our part of our parks implementation team. It's an awesome responsibility. It's going to take a pretty good commitment, and I just want to say thank you all for being a part of what's going to happen in our community in transforming Fresno, transforming our parks, transforming our trails, transforming our river bottom, transforming the way we deliver youth services, and all the other things that this measure is going to provide to our veterans, for cultural arts, so many of those things that have been lacking for years. So I'm excited to be a part of it, and excited that you guys have accepted the challenge and going to be a part of it. So with that, I am going to appoint as the interim chair John Dolan, based on his experience and his leadership to this position. And John, let you take over the meeting. So thank you, guys. I'll be quiet now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I think I should start by saying I am the least qualified person in this room to be the interim chair, but here I am, so I'm stepping up. I would like to ask now if there are any member comments. Would any of the members of this commission like to make any initial comments as we get rolling here? And I would remind you all that if you're on mute, you have to unmute in order to make a comment. Hearing no comments, then I am going to ask if the city attorney is present.
Yes.
And
Doug
sir,
Sloan.
will you give us a legal overview?
Yes. First of all, my name is Doug Sloan, city attorney here. Our office serves as counsel to the commission also. On here also are two other lawyers. One, Raj Badesha. Raj has been involved with Measure P since early 2018. He is going to start with giving you an overview of Measure P and the role of the commission. Also, Christy Costa. Christy will be your ongoing legal counsel attending the meetings. And our role is to help you in any way possible when it comes to legal issues. So whether it's in between meetings, before a meeting, during a meeting, after a meeting, Christy will be your contact if you need help with a legal issue. It could be procedural, it could be substantive, it could be any legal issue that pertains to your role on this commission. We are here to help you. If Christy doesn't have the information, we have 24 other lawyers in the office who can help. So you should probably have her on speed dial at some point. So first of all, Raj is going to give you a brief overview of what Measure P is and what the role of the commission is. Raj?
Good evening, everybody. Raj Badeja, Supervising Deputy City Attorney. So we'll start out with a general overview, and if you've got any specific questions, please feel free to just interrupt me, or you can then, after the meeting, you can also email us directly. But so Measure P was the proposition that created the Fresno Clean and Safe Neighborhoods Parks Tax Ordinance. Through that ordinance, which is now on the books, there is a 3/8% tax that is going to go into effect, anticipated July 1. All of the paperwork has been submitted to the state, and so once the state has completed that paperwork, July 1 should be the implementation date for that tax. And what that tax does is it creates the Clean and Safe Neighborhoods Parks account. It's estimated that the tax is going to generate about $37 million annually. All of that money, because this is a special tax, will go into this fund that's been created through the ordinance and will be used for very specific purposes laid out in the Measure P ordinance. Just very briefly, those buckets or those categories are 46% of that annual allocation, or whatever comes from the tax, is going to go to maintaining and clean and safe parks. 21% has to go to new parks and recreational facilities. 8.5% goes to youth and senior programs, after school programs and job training. 11.25% would be allocated to improving walking and biking trails, as well as the San Joaquin River Parkway and the beautification of streets and trails. And 12% would be expended on access to arts and culture. If you do the math, that does not add to 100%, it adds to 99.25%. There is a 0.75% of the tax that can be allocated to any of those categories that I just mentioned. What the ordinance Measure P also does is it creates a commission. And the role of the commission is really to serve as an advisory body to the mayor and to the city council, and to review the input, to receive input from the public, and provide recommendations regarding the allocation, the expenditure, and the budgeting of the Measure P proceeds. So some of the specific duties that you all have as a commission, now that you've been appointed, include holding hearings and obtaining public input with regard to how should Measure P money be spent. So the ordinance provides these buckets that I just mentioned, all those percentages, and you should have, if you don't already, a copy of the ordinance. But that's in section 1506 of the ordinance. It has all those buckets, but sometimes, and often we want to get public input, and the ordinance requires that we get public input. So your charge is to go out and have public hearings on how this money should be spent. You should also, part of your charge is also to have public hearings on updates to the master parks plan and to the cultural arts plan, which you're also charged with creating and recommending to the city council. And lastly, your charge is to make general recommendations to the city council with regard to anything that has to do with Measure P and the functions as outlined in the ordinance. That includes grant outlines, grant program guidelines, the cultural arts plan, parks fees, also commenting on audits that would occur of how Measure P monies have been spent. There are annual audits and there are also 5-year audits that you'll be part of. And then any annual reports submitted by staff. So, you guys have a lot of stuff to do. And if you have any questions, please let me know. That's a general overview.
Any questions on that so far? Okay, thanks. Next, some of the nitty-gritty legal stuff. First of all, this is a Brown Act body. What the Brown Act is, it's state law that says basically the public's business shall be done in public. And so what that means is if a majority of you, and a majority of this body would be 5, are going to discuss anything, you must do it in a noticed public meeting. 5 of you cannot get together in a room by yourself and talk about the business of this commission. You can't do it all together, and you can't do it in series. In other words, A talks to B, B talks to C, and so forth. And so anytime you're going to discuss the business of this commission with other members, you need to make sure they haven't discussed it with more than 3 other people. In other words, 4 of you can talk about it offline, but if it gets to 5, then you must do it in a noticed public meeting. There has to be an agenda with the public access and public comment and so forth. This is one of these things that we just kind of tell you to be careful of. And if in doubt, talk to Christy. But for sure, if you're at a function somewhere and you see the other members, it's best not to talk about the commission business. Do it in these meetings. That's the ideal way to go. If you form committees or subcommittees at some point, then you can formally discuss, but the committees can't be more than 4 people. They can never be a majority. So that's the essence of the Brown Act. Ethics. All of you are required to file what's called a Form 700 with the Fair Political Practices Commission, FPPC. I think the city clerk's office can assist you in doing that. Your initial filing has to be done within 30 days of taking office. If you haven't done it already, I think it'll be within 30 days of today. And then annually around by April 1st, you have to do that. The city clerk, I'm sure, will bug you to make sure that gets done. If you that form essentially discloses what property you own, businesses that you may have an interest in, and things like that. That's so that the public can be aware of things you may have an interest in to make sure you're not violating ethics rules. So yeah, make sure you get with the clerk's office and get your Form 700 filed. Also, you're subject to the Political Reform Act in the sense that since you are a public official now, if you receive gifts exceeding $50, then you must report these on your Form 700. Now, this doesn't mean birthday gifts and gifts you exchange with friends. But if a developer were to give you a gift of $100 or take you out to dinner, that will have to be disclosed. And you cannot receive gifts totaling more than $500 in a year from any one source. if in doubt, talk to Christy. She can help you through both the rules and the reporting on that. And then conflicts of interest. Essentially, you should not be involved in any decision that may affect your personal financial interest. If, in other words, if an issue were to come by where they were talk about building a park right next to your property, well, that could enhance your property value. You would need to recuse yourself from that issue, which means it's not only can you not vote on it, you may not participate in that decision at all. You cannot discuss it with other members. You shouldn't be discussing it with the public. You have to stay out of it, and you must disclose that conflict publicly in a meeting. In other words, I am recusing myself from this because whatever it may be. It's usually going to be either you have a financial interest in a party that might be involved in something that you're considering, or you have a residence or business close to a project that you would be talking about. So be aware, there are a lot more rules to these types of things, but this is the overview so you can issue spot it and be aware of it. Also then finally, the body will follow the council rules of procedure. The approved council rules of procedure apply to all bodies of the city unless they elect to form their own rules. It's actually sort of a simplified version of Robert's Rules of Procedure. And so essentially to do business, at some point when there's an action item, somebody needs to make a motion. If there's not a second, the motion dies. If somebody makes a motion, there's a second, then that is a motion that's before the floor and will need to be voted upon. Motions are dealt with in the order that they are received. If it's a substantive motion, you can only have one motion on the floor at a time. Until that's voted upon and done, you can't make another substantive motion. You can make a procedural motion. In other words, a motion to continue, a motion to adjourn the meeting. Those types of things you can make and have that heard first. But again, Christy will be available to help shepherd you through those things. I will note that at any type of public meeting where even one of the members is participating electronically, and here everybody is, all votes must be roll call vote. In other words, the clerk will have to call everybody's name and get your vote so that everybody can be aware of what the others are doing. So that's kind of the highlights. If you all have any questions, we'll be happy to help you through it. And Christy will be attending every meeting to help shepherd you through this, just like I do with the city council. So thank you.
Hey, John, real quick, I forgot to do something that was on the agenda earlier. I wanted to introduce the city manager for the city of Fresno, who is Tommy Escueda. And I'd like Tommy to not only introduce himself, but also to introduce the staff who are also on the call, so everyone would be familiar with them. So I apologize for not doing that earlier.
Great. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, John. And again, welcome, Commission. Thank you all so very, very much for agreeing to do this. Yeah, I wanted to introduce a few folks and make a few announcements here real quick. So on the phone call today, we have TJ Miller, who's currently the Parks Director. With her out in the room is Aaron Aguirre. He is our Assistant Parks Director over in the Parks Group. So these are the folks that, as we go through this process, the Parks Department's one that's going to be giving you the information and the data on parks, facilities, operations, and programs and services and facilities. They'll be kind of they'll be doing all of that for you guys. They'll be providing that as you have questions and need information. Parks folks will help you with that. And then also on the line, we have Yvonne Diaz from Department of Public Works and John Gibbs from Department of Public Works. So for this program, Department of Public Works is going to be your project delivery team. So as you think of ideas for new parks, or we're going to rebuild something or do anything to expand, grow, develop a park facility, the Public Works folks are going to be the ones that actually manage that process for you. They'll hire consultants, they'll hire the contractors, but they'll be your agents to get those projects done. The other thing we'll be working with them on is they'll be doing all the facilities maintenance. So we got to fix a door, we got to fix a fence, we got to trim the trees, got to mow the grass. All of those aspects of maintenance will be provided by Department of Public Works. So there'll be another group that you'll spend a lot of time with. So I look forward to having them help you guys talk about all those things. The one big announcement I did want to make, though, for all of you guys as we get into this is that TJ Miller has agreed to take a new position with the city. She's going to now be our personnel director. and that'll be effective in about a couple of weeks. She's not leaving anywhere. She's married to this. She loves it, but we're going to start a transition process. She'll be the new personnel director. And then we will begin a national search for a new parks director as part of this process. So that's something very exciting for you guys. I would think that you're going to be doing the master plan update. You're going to be reviewing all the programs and services, and you'll be doing it in partnership with a new parks director. So we will start a national search for that. We've selected the firm, identified the firm we're going to use, and hopefully we'll start that process next week. So the team's very excited. As excited as you guys are to participate in this program, the staff is very excited. I can tell you, just for years, there's always been the desire to I wish we had another dollar. I wish we had another $10. I wish we had something to, enhance and develop our parks program to that next level. And now to Measure P, we're going to be able to do that. So we're very excited to work with you guys to take these dollars and bring real value to the city. It's going to be a very exciting time. So thank you all very much, and look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Thanks, Tommy. Thank you, Mayor. It is now time for the city clerk to administer the oath of office. So here we go.
Before I get started, I do want to say that I sent out oaths of office to each board member to DocuSign. I'm still missing 2, so if you can please get those into me if you haven't done so already, so you can be official. So would you please board members, please raise your right hand as I give the oath of office. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that you will take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are about to enter? I do.
Do.
I do.
Thank you.
I do. Madam Clerk, I have it here that you're also calling for nominations for the chair.
Yes, do I have a motion and a second for nomination? Would anybody like to nominate? Please unmute yourself if you would. Don't be shy.
I move that we make John Dolan permanent chair.
I'll second.
Okay. Mark, second.
I am reminded of Tecumseh Sherman, who said, "If nominated, I will not run. If elected, I will not serve." I just want to go, in all honesty, I want to speak to my fellow commissioners for one moment. I'm actually incredibly honored to be on this commission. I'm very happy to serve. This is not a question of time commitment for me. I am eager to be as involved as possible. I just want to go on record with my own concerns, which is that I am the newest Fresnan, like in the city, not only on this commission. I have been in the city for all of about 6 weeks now. I'm deeply interested in these issues. I've been doing this as part of my career, but I just want to have that out there. I want to be completely honest. I don't feel like my level of expertise in Fresno parks and Fresno cultural institutions is vast. So before anybody votes or says anything, I just want to be as honest as I can be about my own misgivings. I'm happy to serve. I'm happy to do what is ever required. But if there's anybody else who feels like they would be qualified to do this, I would be happy to back them up as vice chair or whatever, or I can do this, but just going on record as saying that.
Mr. Chairman, we can make more nominations. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I would like to nominate Kimberly McCoy as the chair or president of this body.
I'll second that, Mona Cummings.
Thank you. Okay, so I have a motion and a second to nominate Kimberly McCoy as chair. I'm going to take roll call now for the vote.
But actually, City Clerk, there should
do
be.
we have to deal with that
open
first one?
Discussion for the membership, and then you
Okay.
would take the vote on Mr. Dolan first.
Okay, gotcha.
Kim,
there
did
any
you have,
discussion?
Kim, did you have anything that you wanted to say about that? I wanted to make sure that I gave you room to speak as well, since I took up time.
Just to say thank you. I'm honored. Parks is my heart, my baby. I've been doing a lot of work around parks, a lot of advocacy around parks since 2012. And I think that I am qualified to be chair of this. I was field coordinator for Measure P. I was very active in the Parks Master Plan. If you look at the Parks Master Plan and you're reading it, you'll see a picture of me and they're talking to residents about how we need more investment in South Fresno for parks. So I'm very honored and thank you for the nomination, Jose. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Kim. Are there any further nominations or discussions from any of the commissioners?
None. We'll go ahead with the first motion and second for John Dolan. Please respond as I call your name, yes or no. John Dolan.
Can I abstain?
You can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Board Member Vane.
So do we vote with him first and then we go to the second one? I just want to clarify that.
We're going to take the vote on this one first for John Dolan, and then we'll move, if that doesn't pass, we'll move on to Kimberly McCoy.
Okay. Just because John expressed that he's been here for a short time, I'm going to vote no.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Board Member Abuta? Don't see her.
No.
No? Okay, thank you. Board Member McCoy?
Sorry, John, no.
Board Member Miller?
As the person who made the motion, I'm gonna still go ahead and vote yes. But I think in either case, it would be a fantastic choice.
Okay. Board Member Cummings?
No.
Board Member Singh?
For the same reason as Member Bain, no.
Thank you. And Board Member Barraza?
No, and I want to make the quick comment that I believe that a person should be in the community a little bit longer, in the trenches and fighting the fights that have been fought before. And I know that John would also do an excellent job, but I just feel that we have to be in the trenches, a little bit closer to the trenches, I guess, for a longer time period. And I'm sorry, I don't know a lot about him. So my vote is no.
Thank you. And Board Member Parks?
And as the person who seconded this motion, I will go ahead and vote yes, but I am enthusiastically also in support of Kimberly. I have tremendous respect for you, and so just want to make that comment. And thank you, John, for your comments as well.
Okay, so that motion fails on a vote of 2 to 6 and 1 abstention. So moving on to the next motion for Kimberly McCoy as chair. Call for the vote now. Board Member Dolan?
Yes.
Board Member Vane?
Yes.
Board Member Aputa?
Yes.
Board Member McCoy?
Can I do what John did and abstain?
You can. Board Member Miller?
Yes.
Board Member Cummings?
Yes.
Board Member Singh?
Yes.
Board Member Barraza?
Yes.
And Board Member Parks?
Yes.
That passes on a vote of 8-0 with one abstention.
So, Member McCoy,
now
you're
I
now in
believe-
charge of the meeting.
Do we vote for the next one, the vice chair?
Yeah, Member McCoy now can
Okay,
call for
can
the
take over.
election of the vice chair.
Okay.
Okay, do we have a nomination for the vice chair?
I'd like to nominate John Dolan.
Yes. Second that.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, I'll call for the vote. Board Member Dolan,
I like that guy. Yes.
Board Member Vane,
Yes.
Board Member Aputa,
Yes, and thank you, Mr. Dolan, for giving us that information at the beginning.
Board Member McCoy,
Yes.
Board Member Miller,
Yes.
Board Member Cummings,
Yes.
Board Member Singh,
Yes.
Board Member Baraza,
It'll be an honor to vote for John. Yes.
and Board Member Parks.
Yes.
Okay, that one passes 9-0. So, Ms. McCoy, you may take over to lead the meeting, and the next thing on the agenda is approving the agenda.
Okay, I've been in Zoom meetings all day too and fighting with this mute button. I apologize. So I just asked for approval of the meetings, correct, City Clerk?
Yes, approval of the agenda.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Thank you so much. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please. I'm
Yes,
getting it.
1 second. Okay, so let's see. Board Member Dolan. You
Aye.
muted. Thank you. Board Member Vane,
Aye.
Board Member Aputa,
Aye.
Board Member McCoy,
Aye.
Board Member Miller,
Yes.
Board Member Cummings,
Aye.
Board Member Singh,
Aye.
Board Member Baraza,
Aye.
and Board Member Parks.
Aye.
Great. Okay.
Okay, I'm trying to find the agenda as we're doing this.
I will-
Okay.
Would you
I
like-
will help you out. The next thing on the agenda is actually to determine your terms, because there are different terms on the membership. Two of the members will serve 2 terms, two members will serve a term expiring July 1st, 2022. 2 members will serve with terms expiring July 1st, 2023. 2 members will serve with terms expiring July 1st, 2024, and 3 members will serve with terms expiring July 1st, 2025. And the way that we're going to find out which members are serving, which terms, is through a lot. So in this envelope, I have all of your names that I will be pulling out and using them to determine your term. So the first 2 is going to be for the term ending July 1st, 2022.
Yvonne, if I could do a very quick explanation here. This is a little bit
Sure.
mystical. Measure P says that you shall follow the procedures in the charter. And the charter says that when you have a new body like this, when you're brand new, you need to stagger the terms. And so some people will have a shorter term, some will have a longer term, and you decide it by lot, but you can be reappointed also. And there are no term limits. So this is the process to figure out who gets the 1-year term, the 2-year term, and so forth initially.
Okay. So I pulled one out already, so I'm going to open it and I'll show it to you guys.
Yes.
Kimberly McCoy, if you can see that. So that term will be July 1st, 2022. And the next person whose term will expire 2022 is Sarah Parks. Okay, so the next one is for the term ending July 1st, 2023. There'll be 2 members. That will be John Dolan. That's 2023. And the next person is, a board member is Jose Leon Barraza, July 1st, 2023. 2 members expiring July 1st, 2024. Oops. There we go. Arman Singh, you can see that. July 1st, 2024. One more person for 2024. That is Mona Cummings. And so the last 3 members serving for 2025. Pull them on out so we can get them on. Oops. Dr. Francina Puta. And we also have Scott Miller. And the last person is Maya Vane.
I never win, so don't ever be on my team. Just joking.
Always pick last.
So now we have the terms and when they will expire. And this information will be captured in the minutes of this meeting as well.
So next is to establish your meeting schedule. So you all can decide what night of the week or whatever you want to meet, how frequently, and that sort of thing. So that's available for discussion now.
So how would you guys like to meet? Every bi-weekly, once a month? And what would be a good day? I know for me, Wednesdays are a good day. And I can do weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. It's just totally up to you guys' availability.
Did you say Wednesday is a good day?
Mm-hmm. Wednesday is a good day for me, but I'm pretty flexible. I can move things around, but Wednesday is a good day for me.
It does seem like we should be meeting more often at the beginning.
At the beginning, yes. I believe at the beginning we should be meeting since the tax is going to start being collected in July. I think at least twice a month, maybe 4 times a month to get a feel of what's going on, and then we can resend it back. I can go to my co-chair and see, but I think that's just how I feel.
I think that's a great idea, Kim. I think if we start either weekly or bi-weekly in July, it's fine. And I would just ask that we don't do Thursday night because that's my family night, but every other night of the week is good for me.
I can't do Wednesday too. I'm sorry. I sit on another board, Fresno AOC. So Tuesday I'm good, Monday I'm good, and Thursday I'm good. Just not Wednesday. I apologize, Kim.
For me,
It's okay.
the best time would be Wednesdays, but obviously one day doesn't work. But Tuesdays I have board meetings, so but I like the idea to start maybe weekly. There's a lot of information we have to review, a lot of information that we have to become acquainted with. So we should start maybe for the first 6 months. Frequent meetings, and then later we could move up to a monthly meeting if we, fixed all the problems.
Exactly.
How about Mondays?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what about Mondays or Thursdays? Because no meetings on Fridays, guys. No meetings on Fridays.
No, no, Fridays. Monday is also
I'm
Monday.
good on Mondays too. I'm good on Mondays too.
I'm good on Mondays.
Monday's great for me.
The only fourth Wednesday of the month is when I'm not available. So if you guys decide to do like the first or second, third of the Wednesday of the month, I'm open to. It's just the fourth Wednesday that's when I have a board meeting.
Same for me, fourth Wednesday, but the other Wednesdays are good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Same
I'd
for me.
recommend
I have a
somebody make a
standing.
motion, a second as to what day and how frequently.
I believe Dr. Francine had something.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think she has something to say.
Yeah, well, a couple of things. One, I think we should consider in terms of Mondays, the number of holidays that fall on Mondays. So we might want to give some thought to that. And then I did want to say, I'm available the first and third Wednesdays, but not the second and fourth. So with that said, I'd like to move that the board meet bi-monthly on the first and third Wednesday of every month. I think I heard everyone say that they could do first and third Wednesday.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
Almost all the important Chamber of Commerce meetings are on Wednesday, so that's going to rule me out for not every time, but sometimes. Wednesday is my only really tough day. So I'm willing to try and work around it, but if there's another day that works for most people, it would be fantastic.
I'd like to modify my motion. Legal folks, am I good doing that? All right. I'd like to modify the motion to the first and third Mondays of the month. That sounded like the other day that folks seem to be available.
Is the second of the motion agreeable to that?
Can I ask a clarifying question? What time are we talking about this same time slot at each meeting that we're meeting at tonight?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, then I second Dr. Ofuta's motion for the first and third Mondays.
Okay.
I had made the second too.
Yeah, Doug, I need your help on this one.
Oh, sorry.
I think he has.
I just wanted to
Mr.
clarify
Barraza.
that this coming, the first Monday is not a good, it's a wedding anniversary for me, so it will not work for me. But for once we pass the initial Monday of the month, then it would work. So
Yeah, this Monday we wouldn't meet anyway because it's Memorial Day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so that you accept that amendment, Mr. Barraza?
I do have to say, Mr. Barraza, you were married on my birthday.
Well, it's actually June 1st. I don't know. Okay.
I'm May 31st.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing no more discussion, I'll go ahead and call the roll. Vice Chair Dolan, I got that right?
Aye.
Board Member Vane?
Aye.
Board Member Aputa?
Aye.
Chair McCoy?
Aye.
Board Member Miller?
Aye.
Board Member Cummings?
Aye.
Board Member Singh?
Aye.
Board Member Barraza?
Aye.
Board Member Parks?
Aye.
Okay, so meeting schedule will be the first and third Monday of the month, starting in June. And the time is still 5:30, is that correct? Just to make sure. Okay, all right.
The next item is bylaws. This may be premature. We have drafted some bylaws. We'll be happy to distribute to all of the members. And I would suggest you maybe continue this item then to the next meeting, unless you want to go ahead and discuss it now.
No, I think we can continue the item to the next meeting to give us time to review them. And if we want to add anything to them, then we can do so at that time.
I agree.
I think you can just do that by consensus unless somebody objects.
Everybody, okay.
The next item is discussion regarding working groups or subcommittees. In other words, you can discuss forming subcommittees for different types of matters or whatever it may be. And then you may go ahead and form committees if you want to at this point. A committee cannot consist of more than 4 people.
Do we have to form committees or subcommittees?
No, you don't. You don't have to do it, or you could do it at any meeting as long as it's on the agenda.
Okay.
It's up to you.
Okay. I'm not against working groups or subcommittees, but sometimes subcommittees can form and you have a subcommittee and then a subcommittee of that committee and then a subcommittee of that committee. I think that we're all here working towards the same common goal, and I think that we're all adults and we can work through our differences if we do have differences on an item and be able to push through and come to a majority consensus on it to be able to move forward. Me personally, I don't think we need a working group or a subcommittee for this type of thing because we all working towards the same goal. I open it up to the floor, starting with co-chair John Dolan.
Madam Chair, I'm just going to say that I think it is premature for us to be establishing any working groups or subcommittees at this time. I'm in complete agreement with you. I think we need to understand our mission better, get to know our goals and what's in front of us, and then properly, but I don't think we're in a position to do that yet.
No, not yet. And if in the future, if that happens to where we have to form working groups or subcommittees, we can come back and discuss that at a later time. But right now, I think we're just now starting to get into the groove. And once we get a flow of everything, then we can see. So I totally agree. Do we have anyone else that would like to make a comment on working groups or subcommittees?
I just wanted to make the observation that I agree that at some point we are going to be identifying a work plan of some type, and that's going to define the categories of work. We're going to be talking about new parks, existing parks, the arts, a number of categories that would make it easier to work in smaller groups. So I agree that we should continue that conversation.
Thank you, Jose. Anyone else? All right. Well, we agree not to form any subcommittees right now until we get a flow of how everything is going to go. And if so, we will bring it back to the group.
Okay. There is only one item of business remaining. That is, we have an echo. That is to receive public comment. But before that, I might note this. From this point forward, it will be up to the chair to actually be responsible for working with the city clerk to prepare the agendas for each meeting. And so what I would suggest is for each of you who want to have an item on the agenda to communicate with the chair about an item that you would like to have heard. And then the chair has the final say on getting things on the agenda, the forming the agenda and so forth, working with the city clerk. Of course, the attorney's office is here to help as may be necessary. Also, staff may have some things that they will want you to consider too, whether it's the city manager or the parks director, whatever it may be, they can place things on the agenda. So the communication with the chair and the city clerk will be vital then to prepare the agenda for each upcoming meeting then. Then the only remaining item is public comment. At every Brown Act meeting, it's required that you open up the floor for any member of the public to talk about anything that's within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission. And so that will be up to the chair to conduct that. If you do expect more than 20 people to speak, then you can shorten the time from 3 minutes down to 1 or 2 minutes, depending upon the circumstances. But now it's Dr. Apuda.
Yeah, before we do that, I have a question about the agenda items.
Yes.
What is the amount of time that the agenda needs to be posted for the public? because then I want to know what is the time frame in which we need to get agenda items to the chair and the city clerk.
Yes, so under the Brown Act, the agenda must be posted, made public, at least 72 hours in advance of the meeting. So if your meeting is at 5:30 on a Monday, that will be what, 5:30 on Friday? And typically under the council rules, then all of the agenda items need to be in 5 days before it's published.
Okay.
Initially at least. But I would leave that to the chair and the city clerk, but I would recommend, if you want something on the agenda, to get with the chair and the city clerk at least 5 days before the Friday, before the following Monday. Now, 72 hours is the minimum time. If you all want more time than that, time to look at what may be on the agenda and think about it, then you can set your rules as to what you want that publication date to be. In other words, 5:30 on Friday is the minimum time. You could make it 5:30 on the Wednesday before, if you want more time to look at what's on the agenda to prepare. That's up to you all.
Thank you.
All of that should be laid out in your bylaws. And so normally at this point, if it were a council meeting, the chair would say, are there any comments from the public concerning the commission, city parks, or parks funding? State your name, and then you have up to 3 minutes to speak. And it's up to the chair to recognize people that have requested to speak.
And Kimberly, I'm not sure if you can see the public. We have one speaker with their hand up.
No, I can't see them.
Okay, so I'll call her name and allow her to speak. Her name is Lilia Gonzalez Chavez.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Chavez, you can speak now. No, you're muted. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Lilia Gonzalez Chavez, Executive Director of the Fresno Arts Council. I reside at 556 East Yale in the city of Fresno. And I first want to wholeheartedly congratulate all of you on your appointment as commissioners, and particularly Chairman McCoy. I think you made an excellent choice, and I look forward to working with all of you in the future. The Fresno Arts Council is the local arts agency by resolution of the County Board of Supervisors for Fresno County. And we function as the City of Fresno's arts agency by memorandum of understanding. So you will know that we are identified as a partner in this initiative, and we look forward to begin working with you on the development of the cultural plan and the distribution of grants for the arts portion of this initiative. Again, thank you for your service and congratulations.
We have another person with their hand up to speak, John Shelton. I'm going to unmute you.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, I'm John Shelton. I'm a resident of Fresno. I'm the executive officer of the San Joaquin River Conservancy, a state agency that helps to get grant funds to put together the San Joaquin River Parkway. And several of the people that are on this commission have worked with us, including your board chair and Tree Fresno with Mona Cummings and Sarah Parks, definitely with the San Joaquin River Parkway Trust. So one, I wanted to thank you all for stepping up to be part of this commission. It's going to be very, very important. I think it will help turn our region, not just the city of Fresno, but our whole region into an area that others will really admire. We've got a chance to do something very nice to be able to make the city of Fresno much greener, much more artful, take advantage of our cultural diversity and our geographic diversity that we have with the river and the other areas that are out there. I also wanted to offer out my support that if any of you ever want to go out for a tour of the Parkway, I'd be happy to take you out there. It's one of the pleasures of my job is to get you out there. So again, thanks for stepping up, and I will try and tune into these meetings, and I'm hoping you put into your bylaws enough wiggle room to be able to get lots of public comment as you go through with your decisions.
Thank you, John.
I see no more speakers with their hand raised.
No more speakers in the public comment. Do we have any comments from our commissioners?
Madam Chair, I wanted to make a comment about something that is very important that I hope we address at one of our initial meetings, and that has to do with the work plan of the commission. In other words, when is the next city budget? I guess it's the month of June. I'm assuming. When do we know about the revenues that come in? A little bit about kind of like an update of how we're doing with the revenue. When will we start making recommendations? That a little bit about the work plan of this commission. More of it's a combination of also getting from park staff a report on the expenditures of the current expenditures. We don't deal with city government every day, so it'll be useful to get an update on the I know that the parks master plan has a lot of that information, but we need to start communicating with staff as to the conditions, the issues, the challenges. And there was some discussion about a study that was going to be done by consultants to start reassessing the needs of parks, kind of updating that information. Maybe a discussion on the work plan for our commission that for the next couple of months.
Agree. Go.
Was in? You have a city manager, Esqueda, comment on that, please?
Kimberly, can I just kind of update folks on kind of the current thinking right now?
Thank you. Yes, I thought you had your hand up. I was trying to see.
No problem. Yes, I want to. There's a great question, Commissioner Barraza. So here's kind of where we're at right now. So we are currently in the process of finalizing a scope of work with WRT. They were the consultants that had done the original master plan from, I think it was 4 years ago. And so we're going to go ahead and retain that firm to work with you guys to update the master plan. And there'll be two things they'll kind of want to focus on with you guys. One is the new facilities that we might want to be thinking about, existing facilities, reconfiguration, rebuilding, and then programs and services. Do we want to revisit programs and services? So what we're working right now to get that contract in place to get them started to work with you guys. We anticipate bringing that contract to council June 10th. We should be able to bring that to you guys. And so that'll be a resource available to you. And then again, our staff is available to you, but that's the technical expertise we want to bring to the table, and we're currently working to put in place. The other thing we're putting in place is there's an RFP out right now, an RFQ out right now, where we're looking to retain a pool of design consultants, so park design consultants. We anticipate, you guys are going to get busy, and so we don't want to put all our eggs in one basket. So we'll have a pool of on-call consultants that we can work with, that we can assign projects to on a task order basis and get them moving and start advancing some of the projects that you guys are thinking about. With regard to the money, yes, all the paperwork's in place right now to start collecting. You'll start seeing it on your cash register receipts July 1st. But the way the way the state manages the sales tax, we don't expect to receive the first receipts until October. So somewhere in October, we'll get the first receipts and we'll report that out to you. Right now, our estimate for FY22 is that we'll generate about $29 million because it won't be 12 months of money. It'll be 9 months of money. So Chair McCoy, I think it would be great if I could get with you and just kind of talk you through some of these items, and then we can figure out how you want to put them on the agenda, and we can work with the rest of the committee. Knowing that there'll be a heavy startup period for this, we got to get the bylaws, the goals, we got the consultants working with all of you. we have pre-programmed. Again, I think the overall the Measure P over 30 years is well over $1 billion of money we will collect. To get this initial year going and knowing the work that you're going to be going through, we pre-programmed some of the Measure P money for some projects that are already kind of in the queue, have been waiting, have been kind of approved by council. And so some of that'll get started, but again, it's just a fraction of the $1 billion that we'll need to kind of program long-term out. So we can bring that to you guys at one of the upcoming meetings we have, so that you'll just, ideally what we'd like to do is this project built by Measure C, we want to get as much of that out there so the community at large can see that these dollars that they approved are out there. We're putting them to work. We're getting them going, but you guys will definitely be busy. We've got some consultants lined up to walk you through and, work at your pleasure in terms of how we want to do the programming, the facilities, the services, and just reimagine all those things. So, Chair McCoy, I'll get some time with you, and we'll just kind of walk through some of that and get it prepared for the upcoming agendas.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any other comments, questions, or concerns from the commissioners?
May I ask, do we anticipate staying in the virtual space for the near future, or what does it look like as far as meetings in this format or meeting together at City Hall?
Yeah, so we're currently in the process of trying to work with our internal COVID EOC committee, working with the city attorney's office to unwind a lot of these emergency orders that we put in place so that we can get employees back into the building and then get the visitors in these commissions, the Planning Commission, Parks Commission, get them back. Our tentative goal is to have that happen Monday, July 5th is where we'll go live back into the building. That's our tentative schedule. Cal OSHA's got to still make some decisions and the state's got to make some decisions, but our long-term plan is to kind of default now to what the state and the feds are requiring and then undo some of the things that we've implemented. So tentatively, July 5th is where we'd like to go live back into the building.
Tommy, a question, or this may be for council. Are we required to hold these, once we do go public, are we required to hold our meetings can we hold, I guess, here's my question. Can we hold them in parks? Can we move around from park to park as long as there is community space available?
Right. Well, currently, the governor has signed an order allowing these virtual meetings, but normally you would not be able to do this. Normally, a majority of the board would have to be in person within the jurisdiction. Now, you can hold the meetings wherever you would like physically, as long as the public can participate and we can do all of the things that we need to do.
Okay.
But yes, as long as it's a space where the public can be there as well as you over here and participate in the meeting, you can do that.
And I think, John, that's a great question. So for us on the operations side, the farther out we could schedule those, because just the logistics, we got to get the microphones, we got to get the chairs, we got to get, all of the things set up. If we're going to be doing something with CMAC where they're going to be recording it, we just got to get all that stuff in place. So I like the idea of moving around the parks. Just the more advanced notice we can get, the more we can get our staff to get the facility set up for that kind of an event.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, is there anything else? No? Well, it was great seeing everyone tonight and meeting everyone, and I can't wait to get started on this work. And I guess our meeting is adjourned. Oh, thank you, Mayor Dyer, for everything. Thank you, city staff. Thank you, city manager. And you guys have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Congratulations, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.